Hey! Welcome to Onward Gaming Adventures. My name is Alex, and welcome to episode 1 of my how to YouTube tutorials, how to do stuff on YouTube boob. Yeah, so I'm not claiming to be a super crazy awesome YouTube star, and I'm sharing all my secrets. No, I'm just gonna give you some helpful tips that I think would make any channel better in general, and they're little tutorials on how to do stuff. So this is the Mac tutorial for how to do thumbnails. And the important thing about thumbnails, and the reason that I'm starting with them, is because they're the thing that give your video a face. People they don't just watch your videos without looking at the thumbnail. And by that logic, people watch videos that they see the thumbnails of, and they're like, hey, that's a cool thumbnail. So better thumbnails means more people watching your videos. So these are just some of the thumbnails this is how I do my thumbnails for, you can see Tekkit and Portal, a little sneak peek for, any of those that you're looking at. I use Keynote. Keynote's a slideshow program that is, I believe, free on, Mac computers, and I think it's really nice. It's a nice place to do stuff, and here, I'm gonna throw that away. Here's the thumbnail that I'm gonna do. Yeah, I know I'm cheating. I'm making the thumbnail for this video in this video. How cool is that? Okay, so this is just what it's gonna look like at the end. It looks pretty nice and clean. Everything's good. File, new, presentation. I'm gonna do white presentation because I just think it looks. It's a nice clean slate to work on. I'm gonna delete that. And delete that. So the first thing you're going to do is run over to the document part and see what it says slide size. You're going to turn it from standard 4/3 to widescreen 16:9. The reason you're going to do that is because YouTube's thumbnails are actually in a 16:9 aspect ratio. So doing this will mean that none of your thumbnails will get cropped too much. Okay. The first thing you're going to do is get out a shape. Here's a shape. It's a square. What we're going to do, I cannot speak today. What we're going to do with this square is just going to put it in the very, very tippy-top corner of your slideshow thing, of your slide, and you're going to move it all the way until you see those yellow lines. You're going to go over to Format, Fill, No Fill, Border, Line, 2-point, Drop Shadow, No Shadow. Alright, the last thing you're going to do with this is you're just going to hold shift and move it in a little bit. Holding shift means that it keeps its size constraints so that it stays the same shape, you're just changing the size. If you didn't, let me just show you what would happen then, you would distort it and it would not be the right shape. Okay. That's going to be the size of our thumbnail. That's going to be the shape, the border, and we're going to use that a little while later. I'm going to take that and arrange it, and oh, it's already in the front. Great. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in, move that one away. We're going to bring in this. This is going to be our central image, and it's also going to be what's going to dictate all of our colors for our thumbnail. We're going to take it, and we're just going to set it aside for the moment. Going to put it right down there. Out of the way. Going to get a new shape. Another square. We're going to take this square. We are going to put it up in the corner again. I'm using the arrow keys, if you can hear. We're going to put that backwards, so that it's behind this main outline. We're going to do the same thing here, backwards. Perfect. We're going to take it, and we're going to put it so it's the same exact size as the main thing. So I'm going to have it a little bit larger than that black outline, just so that there's no, parts that aren't selected by that outline. I'm going to go Style, Advanced Image Fill. We're going to hit Color Fill, hit this weird spinny wheel thing, and go over to our image and select the color that we want. So now it's a nice deep shade of red. I like it. That brings me back to this image. Gonna move this, gonna center it. The great thing about those yellow lines is they center everything and it snaps right to the center. It's perfect. They're also really good for alignment and spacing. So, just my 2 cents. This is another great reason to use Keynote or Pages or one of those programs, because there's all of these great tools that are built in. So you might see that it's actually not one solid block of color. It's a gradient, and it doesn't match with our with the red. I'm actually going to take that red. I'm actually going to change the color. I don't know. It looks a little bit too bright. Maybe. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Perfect. Actually, I'm gonna bring this in now so I can get that red. This is the red that I really want to match. This one, color, that red. Perfect! Okay, I'm gonna set that aside for now. I'm gonna throw it away. We'll come back to that one. So the thing about this image is that it has this gradient, and that gradient isn't, it doesn't match up. We don't want to see it. So I'm gonna go over to Image, Instant Alpha, and I'm just going to put my little cursor, little selector over the part that I want to get rid of, and I'm just going to drag. I'm going to drag until I see that it gets rid of all of the red that I don't want. Another really awesome tool. So now we have this nice, clean, white play button. I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to scale it to the size that I want. This is my logo, for those of you who don't know. Take that, copy it, so I have the same size. Gonna put it there. Gonna select this one, and I'm gonna shift click so I can select this one. And then now I can drag them so they're both on either side of this play button. And nice and aligned and centered and everything. Gonna arrange those, gonna move them backwards, and now they're behind it, and it looks good. So I do see this little imperfection right here. There's a little white kind of crescent right here. I don't really like that, so I'm just gonna hit flip. I'm gonna arrange, then a flip, and now it's going to hide that behind this white play button. That's going to be my center image. So this is a great thumbnail so far. I like it. It's great. The thing is, it doesn't have any text on it, and that's kind of another thing that we need. We need some text. I'm gonna say YouTube, maybe not all caps. YouTube tutorials. Perfect. That's a little small though. I don't know. I'm gonna center it in the center. It's a little small. I think we need it bigger so people can actually read it when the thumbnail is small. I'm gonna hit maybe 250. That looks good. But I don't like the font. One of the things that you can do, that's also really simple, I'm gonna go to text, is you can change up the font with a click of a button. I'm gonna use this font. This is the font that I use for all of my videos. It's called American Captain. I'm gonna change it to a white so it matches the color scheme of the rest of everything. The only black that we're gonna have is part of my logo, which, not too bad. Also part of the shadowing, which we'll cover later. Also, to get the rest of the size, I'm gonna hit Command C and copy it, and then paste it. So we have it right there. Also gonna have that aligned. Say Pro Thumbnails. Give a title to the video. Gonna shift click and hit this one and then that one, and then I'm just gonna drag them until they are completely centered. So this thumbnail is looking good. It's coming along. Actually, I realized that my Keynote window, that might have been bothering some people. It was bothering me a little bit, but I didn't really notice until the end. Last thing, looking at this, it looks a little flat. I hate to break it to you, but sometimes two-dimensional is not the best. So we're gonna add a little bit of depth here. Gonna shift click and select everything. I'm gonna go Style, Shadow. And there are 3 different types of shadow. There's drop shadow, which adds just a little bit of shadowing. Contact shadow, which also is pretty similar to drop shadow. And then there's curved shadow. Curved shadow is my favorite because it adds weird kind of shaped shadows that match stuff. It's going to take a little while, and there it is. We have some depth. So this has some shadowing here, this has some shadowing here, some shadowing under there, but kind of generally all around, and it separates the different layers and makes them look nice. Last but not least, how do we take this cool slideshow thing and turn it into a actual thumbnail? So that's pretty simple. On a Mac, hold Command, Shift, and 4. And this little crosshair thing will pop up. Now this is where that overlay is gonna, not overlay, but the border is gonna come in handy. You're gonna center it over the edge, right at the tippy top little corner, and click, and drag, and those are the guides that that will show you where to select. So ready? Just hold and select, and that whole thing's selected. Now to take a picture, you release, and now that is on your desktop right there. I'm going to take that and I'm going to say YouTube thumbnail right there. Double click it, open it in a preview, see how it looks. I'd say that looks pretty darn good. That looks pretty darn good right there. Okay, and now all you gotta do is when you're uploading a video, throw that in, hit the custom thumbnail button if you are like trusted or whatever by YouTube, and then you can put that in there. And the cool thing about this is that now you can go back at any time. Let's say I want to do a video about editing process. I can just click the text and change it right there without having to make a whole new thumbnail. So it's really easy, super editable, and all this great, amazing stuff. I'm actually going to bring up this. And the great thing about Keynote and using Keynote, I used to use Pages, and I had a separate file for each and every thumbnail, and after a little while it got a little tedious. The great thing about Keynote is I can store all of my thumbnails in one Keynote slide. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to copy the slide, oops, I'm going to bring it over here, I'm going to put it right there. So now we have this one for Portal, this one for Tekkit, and now this one for YouTube tutorials. So if you feel, I cannot speak today. If you feel you learned something, that could help you, leave me a like down below. Hit me up with a comment. Tell me what you want to see. If you have any questions over anything, leave those in a comment down below. Hit the favorite if you liked it a lot. And subscribe if you want to see more of these tutorials later on. I'm going to be doing some more stuff like editing and hopefully, if I figure it out eventually, a PC version of how to do tutorials. Not tutorials, but thumbnails. Thumbnails is the Mac version. Can't do this on PC because I don't think you have Keynote on a PC. But anyway, my name is Alex. This has been Onward Gaming Adventures, doing some YouTube tutorials. Have a wonderful rest of your day.